Why, hello, ladies and gentlemen. On today's show, very Thanksgiving pod, I am being joined by one of the great ones, one of the iconic ones, a thunderous intentions, and also royal blood. It is my good buddy at Rylan_Stiles. I know he's not nodding his head right now. One of my best intros I've ever done, I must say. Sir, how you doing?
Doing great. That was an amazing intro. I felt like I was about to come out in Monday Night Raw WWE style with that great intro, but I'm doing good. Javi, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. For today's show, we're going to be talking about some very special things because it is a special holiday. But firstly, I want to say, everybody, thank you for making Locked On Padres and Locked On Royals your hashtag first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Special Locked On crossover event over here. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, Rylan. I saw this morning. We're recording this on a Tuesday. And I saw this morning, Bryce Patrick of Locked On Raider. He's out here boasting that he got a whole quadrilogy of people on his podcast for some episode. But I only need one person. It's Rylan Stiles. That's all I need. Today, we're going to be talking about the things that we're most thankful for with baseball. And then things that were just general. And then just whatever. Because you and I often, when we record, we just say things. We just do things. Or, my friend, I don't know if anybody, long-time listeners, remember, we did a Thanksgiving draft where I was slandered publicly by this, really just off the cuff, like it was the most I've ever been slandered on a podcast. I honestly think it wasn't. There will be no slandering. It will be all
No,
love.
it was well deserved. Do not sway the jurors. It was well deserved. It was well deserved. You
look. So what? I took the acorn squash. So what if I took the acorn squash? Ideas and then quickly have to Google Thanksgiving foods and then be reminded of what the heck is even out there. Maybe. I'm not confirming that, but maybe that. But we're not talking about draft today. We're talking about things we're thankful for, dude. So you're the guest. Let's just dive right into it. First of all, how was the baseball season for you before we get into our individual picks for the baseball? How was it for you? Because this year, 2020 was this shortened season, and then kind of adjusting back to the long 162 game season. That kind of like for you? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? How were those Kansas City Royals doing?
It was painful because the Royals were the best team in baseball for a month. And had we been playing 60 games, they would have been a playoff team probably. I mean, they were the best team in baseball for an entire month, and then they sucked after that. So it was not very fun. But still, some hope. I'm doing it once again, Javi. I have optimism for the next season. I'm once again ready to get my heart broken by these Kansas City Royals. But it was very painful watching the mighty collapse from Kansas City, from the best team in baseball to one of the worst.
Yeah, I mean, look, your team was very fun, I have to admit, for that first month. I remember you were freaking out about Mr. Benintendi. You were trying to trade for him from me in fantasy baseball for the longest time. And I said yes for Ramon Laureano, who then ended up getting suspended for PED usage. So you won in the end, my friend. You won that whole bout in the end.
And I didn't want to give you that trade. But
that was the whole thing that happened. But really, I mean, I was kind of in a similar boat. My team had an epic collapse, and my team had like World Series aspirations. So don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy for me either. I think in general, though, this baseball season it kind of reminded me in general that, man, unless one of the like 7 good teams, baseball can be really miserable, man. Like you're just watching, like if you're a Royals fan, if you're Rangers, if you're Rocky, oh my God, the poor Rockies. Shout out Paul Holden over at Locked On Rockies. Go listen to that podcast. He does a great job. I mean, the Rockies, man. The Rockies are like, you know what? I mean, this is kind of a preemptive, like one of what I'm thankful for. I'm just thankful I'm not a Colorado Rockies fan. I just have to say, I'm so thankful. My team isn't out here not trading guys for assets and then not even giving out the qualifying offer for John Gray. It's like I don't even know what you're doing. So why didn't you trade him? Why didn't you trade Trevor Story when you had the chance for a top 50 prospect? You probably could have gotten that. I'm doing over there. It's kind of bad that they just have barely any, even the bare minimum of analytics in the department. The fact that all of their pitchers mysteriously just vanish off the face of the earth and don't even debut and they retire. Really bad things going on over there for Colorado. But Yeah, dude. I mean, the Royals. We're going to be talking about them a little bit. I have some things I'm thankful for that have to do with the Royals. So do you want to just get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, man. You love doing that. You love doing the little pause and the, yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. He's so calm and collected. You know that Rylan Stiles is so calm and just he's a Zen master, dare I say? What is the first thing that you're thankful for when it comes to ball, my man?
A Zen master until I start doing the Mad Dog Russo impression.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm most thankful this baseball season for Salvador Perez. I mean, MVP caliber hitter. It's a joy watching him play. You mentioned it there. When your team's not in the hunt and not vying for a playoff spot, which is why I think that the playoff expansion this offseason will be great for baseball. It is tough to watch teams that have no real consequence to the season. You also weren't bad enough for like a top 1, 2, 3 pick. You weren't good enough for the postseason. You're just kind of there. And you weren't really good enough to even be in a playoff hunt the way the Padres were at least in the hunt the entire season for the wild card spot until like the last week of the year. Salvador Perez was a beaconing light to go break the home run record and to go do all the things he did with winning the MVP award and carrying over that 60-game sample size. Where I think that a lot of people still had reserves. Is this Salvador Perez going to be an elite hitter the way he was in 60 games? Can he do that for a full season? And he did. And so now it presents an interesting future for Kansas City whenever one of their best prospects is MJ Melendez, a catcher. How does Salvador Perez and Melendez coexist? Does that make Perez more of a viable DH option now that he's found this elite hitting stroke? So I'm thankful for Perez because having MVP caliber guys on your team when you're not very good is very important.
Yeah, I mean, it was also just it was a fun season. He had a lot of big hits, obviously, with the home run power and whatnot. And I don't think it was something that was exactly expected. Now, I do think that, just to be mean for a second, I do think it got to the top with the Hall of Fame talk. It happened for like 2 weeks. It wasn't long. There was just that random period where everyone was like, Salvador Perez, like, Hall of Famer. And then you look at it, it's like, he's a good player. Look, I have beef with this. Your league, the other one that you cover, the NBA, anybody who's had like a slightly pretty good career, who's made the All-Star team, like Hall of Fame. All right, guys, like I think you're allowed to just be a really good player, not make the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that baseball's way of judging the Hall of Fame is any better. They certainly have a whole yarn to untangle, but for the Royals thing, I was just like, all right, enough of that. Enough with, I mean, Kyle Lowry, like the guy. Is he a Hall of Famer, though? I don't know. I'm going to say it, Gerald Wallace or Ben Wallace. There we go. Ben Wallace. I always get the two mixed up. Ben Wallace, really great player. I think it matters a little bit that you didn't do anything on offense, but fine, whatever. We'll just put everybody in the Hall of Fame. That's just my slander for the day, I guess. I don't know if you feel the same about Ben Wallace. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I got so much crap from my friends on my birthday for thinking Ben Wallace wasn't necessarily the Hall of Famer. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, and then the other thing I want to ask you about Salvador Perez is, how did you feel about
I'm sorry.
How do you feel?
I am an NBA junkie. I love the association. I cannot think of a more depressing conversation on my birthday than the validation of Ben Wallace being an NBA Hall of Famer. That is the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
Hey, I mean, it happens sometimes, man. It happens. This is go, my friends. We just have to debate things. But I have to ask you, how do you feel about, what's his face from the Kansas City Star voting Salvador Perez second in MVP? Look, for the record, I disagree with it, obviously, but I am a huge fan of baseball writers and media people just unabashedly showing their bias when it comes to voting for things. Like, I would love nothing more than like Kevin Acee for the New York Tribune every single year. Like this year, he had Manny Machado in second for MVP. He didn't, but like I would love that. You know what I'm saying? I always think it's hilarious. What did you think about that whole sort of mini controversy?
Yeah, a lot to get to. You threw a ton out there, starting with Ben Wallace being Hall of Famer. Basketball gets away with it by dubbing themselves the Basketball Hall of Fame and being all encompassing for your entire basketball career, high school, college, overseas, NBA. So they dump more people in there because they take into account your entire resume and not just what you did in the actual NBA. Now, for Salvador Perez, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's one of the best catchers of this generation. I think that had he played in any other era, these nerds out here with their stupid ass defensive stats would not at all criticize Salvador Perez for his pitch framing, and he can't quite get the corner. You know what pitch framing is to me, Javi? It's cheating. It's fooling the system, right? In a couple of years here, pitch framing won't even matter because we're going to have automatic strike zones. So if pitch framing is the only thing keeping Salvador Perez out of Cooperstown, well, then you, sir, can put pitch framing right onto my right foot and watch my right foot go up where the sun don't shine. How about that? Okay, Salvador Perez, Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. I am not one.
This is your best sag yet.
For liars. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, that's two things I can't stand: manipulators, liars. And to me, pitch framing is manipulating, and therefore I say Salvador Perez, who every little stat nerd says is not a good pitch framer, I'll say by that front, that means Salvador Perez is the most character and leadership and fortitude and just all around is a much better person than every other catcher because he's not trying to cheat the system. How about that?
You're talking out of your ass.
Damn nerds and their stupid pitch framing. That's the only thing I've heard about the guy is that he can't frame a pitch. How about the fact he puts pitches into the fountain every other at bat? How about that? How about the fact that he puts pitches, gets them out of his glove, and throws out runners? How about that? Pitch framing. We come up with these new ways in baseball. It's been good for 50 years, and now all of a sudden we're about pitch framing. How do Yogi Berra do as a pitch framer? Do you know?
He did all right. He did all right, I assume. I think he was okay.
Right.
I don't know. I think he was pretty okay. I have the advanced stats on that. But before we get into the advanced stats on all of that, and one of the most incredible zags that's ever happened on the Locked On Padres podcast. I don't know about your podcast. I can't speak for that. This might just be a daily. This might be business as usual for you. But you know what else is business as usual for me, man? Enjoying the best protein bars in all the land. Everybody, this is, of course, the Thanksgiving episode. Don't get me wrong. I love Thanksgiving. All the good foods and treats. You got all of them, plenty of them. I like taking all the food and mashing them together. It's a big kablossop of greatness. But maybe you want a yummy dessert, Rylan. You a big fan of the yummy desserts? Some pies, perhaps, of those?
Huge fan. I love a pecan pie.
Pecan pie. You got to be careful, though. I think we talked about this. If you have too many, it gets a little bit too sweet, but it is great. But also, it's the perfect time for Built Bars. It's the new holiday dessert. Maybe you want to take a little bit easy because one slice of pie has upwards of 300 calories, and that's on the low end. Most Built Bars are only 130 calories and only 4 grams of sugar. So maybe you cool it with the coconut cream pie. You cool it with the raspberry, pie or what have you. And then you have the raspberry Built Bar or the coconut Built Bar. And let me just be very clear here. Built Bars are delicious. Rylan can attest to this. Attest to it, my friend.
Oh, they're great. I love them. They're incredible. They're awesome.
Thanks, man. Seriously, though, they taste really good. Coconut Brownie Chunk is a favorite of the Locked On crew. Trust me, you can ask any of them. It's one of the favorite flavors. My mom really likes Cherry Barcia. I like Apple Almond Crisp, one of the most underrated flavors, in my opinion. And they've got all sorts of other flavors like caramel and chocolate brownie. They've got all sorts of stuff, whatever you're in the mood for. And best of all, they're, of course, healthy for you. Low calorie, low carb, low fat, high protein. So what on earth are you waiting for? Go to built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your order. Remember, that is promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Once again, everybody, I want to remind you, thank you so much for making Locked On Padres and Locked On Royals your hashtag first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. I also forgot to give you a app. You can follow Rylan on _Stiles. I always do this at the beginning of my podcast, and then I forget whenever I do a crossover. And then myself at Jalapeno. Also, if you want to see me laughing maniacally as Rylan did one of the greatest zigs in the history of the Locked On Padres podcast, also with my wonderful hat that I'm wearing this whole week and my Pokemon t-shirt, you could check that out. Locked On Padres on YouTube. Rylan YouTube for Locked On Royals because he's a coward, but still, be sure to check that out, guys. Rylan. Man, like that was a lot. Look, I obviously disagree with you. We don't have to get totally into that because I'm trying to make this an upbeat episode. It's about what we're thankful for.
I don't know what you can disagree with though. Is it because you can't frame?
What do you mean?
So why isn't Salvador Perez a Hall
I'm
of
trying
Famer?
to save your baseball career right now.
Is Yadier
You just
Molina a
came
Hall of
out
Famer?
that can I quote do that? Can I do like one of those quote things? Pitch for that cheating.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all these stat nerds, they love the cheating, they love the
Just one of
technology.
the best things.
Do you consider Yadier Molina a
Just what
Hall
an
of Famer?
NBA fan would say. Just what an NBA fan would say. I should probably get into what I'm thankful for, right? And mine is also very, very obvious. And I think I'll get away with the obvious one out of the way. There's not much to it, but I'm thankful for El Nino. I'm thankful for Fernando Tatis Jr. And the reason why is because you come across great baseball players all the time. You come across baseball players that transform franchises and all that. But it's so rare that you have someone who genuinely, people who, friends of mine, don't know literally anything about baseball. They couldn't tell you any player on the Royals. Maybe they know Perez just because he's been there for a little bit, and the World Series
He's a
run and
Hall of
everything
Famer.
like that. And he's not a Hall of Famer. They might be able to tell you that, but it's very rare that current, just up and coming players immediately grab the attention of everybody. That's Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, the excitement, people have talked about this ad nauseum. I don't really have that many new takes on this, but watching him makes me incredibly happy. I mean, 2020, the game against the Cardinals will forever live in my mind. The 2 home runs that he hit, the bat flip that ends up on MLB The Show, just a really great lad. And I know that this season was a little bit weird. Some of the Padres fans got on me because I didn't think he was the MVP in the National League this year. I thought that deserved to go to Bryce Harper, which it did. I did think Tatis should have gone over Soto, though. That much I did disagree with from the writers and whatnot. But just in general, I mean, he's the best player on the team. He's one of the best players in baseball. And he reminds you that the sport can really be pretty good as long as it's more conservative, old man kind of view on it is halted a little bit. As long as we don't have people who are, man, I don't like the way he carries himself. It's like, what does that even mean, dude? You know what I'm saying? There's all these bad takes, all these bad characters in baseball. And it's fun that one of the best players in the game, and also for a franchise, keep in mind, this is a big part of it too, for a franchise that has not had this isn't the Yankees, this isn't the Red Sox, this isn't one of the big, market teams or what have you. It's someone who's really trying is in a lot of ways the future of the game. That's Tatis, and I am forever thankful for him.
Tatis is awesome. I think that he's a superstar. I hope that Bobby Witt Jr. becomes a superstar as well. I think that the more people that kind of bring personality to the game, the better. I mean, the leagues that have personality are taken off, and the leagues that don't are getting ridiculed or falling off. I mean, even the NFL, the almighty NFL, is getting ridiculed every single Monday about some stupid taunting penalty. That's just not the way that people enjoy sports anymore.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, your boy. Unbelievable. Can't point a finger. How is the NFL the league right now that's legislating against fun? What is going on? This is a pretty... The next thing you're going to know, the NBA is going to start fighting. Imagine if the NBA fined for taunting. What would there be, a penalty every 5 minutes?
Every 5 minutes.
The NBA is great. You saw Russell Westbrook with the little fighting Irish stance the other day. That was incredible. But yeah, that's one thing I think. Well, what about you? What else you got? Because he sets out. We've basically both just said the best players on our respectful teams. So go on ahead, keep going.
I'm thankful that Salvador Perez is a Hall of Famer, and that you can't deny him Hall of Fame status. I think that he is just incredible. I'm thankful for the voter, whoever it was that put him second. I actually like that in a different way. To circle back to that conversation, I think that it's funny when people are kind of like homers, but I think that most of the time it's justified in the sense of, without that second place vote, where would have Salvi finished? He finished 7th. I think that he shouldn't have won the award. I think he shouldn't have finished top 3. I think he should have finished higher than 7th. So you take away the second place vote, and then where does he fall? So I think that it was justified to kind of level out the voting, which still did not go the way it should have. I think that Salvador Perez was much better this year than the 7th best player in the AL. Of course, did not deserve to win the award, but still was really good and better than 7th. So the vote there helps out the end result. But I'm also thankful for Bobby Witt Jr., the best prospect in baseball, who had a better season, I think, than anyone ever imagined. I think that you ask any of these minor league experts and prospect gurus, nobody could have seen coming the season offensively that Bobby Witt Jr. put together. And so, although it's only 1 year, and so it's a year in the minor leagues, it's still very encouraging for this guy who's been tabbed as this future star. And hopefully it does come to fruition, and the Royals can build a roster around him that has sustained success.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr., one of the great names of a prospect. I'd say we've done a little bit good because the pun potential is there. I still haven't seen the best one for it, but Wander Franco is very good. But also, like a Jared Kelenic, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash these people, but like top level prospects, when you got a name Bobby Witt Jr., that sounds like the sequel to Bull Durham. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like the son of Crash Davis or some cousin or whatever. The next great one, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like a baseball movie name. And I hope he's a beast. Maybe he's going to be like a top-level shortstop immediately. I don't know. But bottom line is I really am kind of rooting for the Royals because they're actually a fun team. I actually think that they're not as helpless as some other franchises when it comes to their depth right now. They're not the Rockies level. Sure, they haven't been run necessarily all that well, but still, Bobby Witt Jr., that is a good pick, sir. I agree with that. And now for me, I'm also going to say something that's a little bit Royals related. I am thankful for 2022 first baseman on the Kansas City Royals, Eric Hosmer, because I'm just so thankful for him to go over there. He's coming home, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard the song before. He said, I'm coming home. He's to be back with the Royals and just being a leader. You know what I mean? We don't talk enough about the intangibles when it comes to stuff. Like Eric Hosmer brings it when it comes to the leadership skills.
He only brings intangibles.
Look, he hits the ball harder than almost any. I'm not even making this up. He does. Hits it very, very hard, and he's
into the ground.
But he hits it hard, and that's about mine. That's all I care about.
Second base.
Who cares about all the other stuff? I don't care. He hits it about as hard as any other first baseman. Freddie Freeman, who I've never heard of. Please. Freddie Freeman's swing looks like there's a glitch in the Matrix, by the way. Let me just say that. His swing is very weird. It's always kind of been unnerving to me how I don't know how to explain it. It's like a short swing where it looks like he went through the full. I don't know how to explain it, but the Freddie Freeman swing, it just bothers me. I don't know what it is. It just makes me so frustrated. I'm like, I don't know how this is possible. But yeah, I'm very grateful for you guys taking Eric Hosmer onto your team, bringing him back.
Yeah, that's not going to happen whatsoever. If that happened, the Royals would fold as a franchise. Hosmer, great to have the Mad Dash home. Never going to forget it. He'll be a Royals Hall of Famer. Might have his jersey retired, might have a statue, whatever. Don't really care about all that right now. Bottom line is, not a good baseball player anymore. So keep him over there. I'm betting that the Royals will not trade for Eric Hosmer. And I can do that with our good friends over at
I think you're wrong. I think that they need to have some
just totally blew the segue there, bud.
I didn't hear what you said. It glitched out for me. This is the problem with streaming sometimes. I couldn't even hear what you said. Let's rewind for a second. What did you say?
I am betting that Eric Hosmer will not end up with the Royals this offseason, and I can bet over with our good friends at
betonline.ag. It is a great site. It's great. It's Thanksgiving, and we all know what that means. Football. And nothing goes better with football than turkey and betting, and they have you covered all holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. It is your number one spot for all the sports action this Thanksgiving. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops. You can talk about the Thunder maybe. Maybe Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP odds. They're probably not very high right now, but whatever. They've got boxing stuff, UFC stuff, even your favorite Vegas casino games, and of course, baseball, obviously, guys. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, we're stuffed with deals this Thanksgiving. You like that? There you go. Look, sometimes I'm really bad with transition.
You like that?
Yeah, you like that. That was one of the great things that ever happened, by the way. I don't think enough people give credit to Kirk Cousins saying you like that. Look, Kirk Cousins is a fine quarterback. He's actually played pretty decent this year. But A little bit better than your boy, I will say. I mean, your boy is.
Get out of here. Stop.
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to
I
save
don't
you
know,
from
man.
Chiefs Twitter. I'm trying to save you from Chiefs Twitter bashing you for the rest of your life. So just stop.
Oh, please. I ain't scared of no Chiefs Twitter. What the? Please. 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 No Chiefs Twitter. There's no such thing. But
Used to be a
yeah,
meme
man,
of like me and you battling Chiefs Twitter and then baseball analytic Twitter.
Look, I've bad. Look, you think that I'm bad? See, you. I'm not like. Have you seen Loki, the CV series? Okay, like at the end, spoiler alert for the next 15 seconds for Loki. You know when the guy's like, my other variants are like so much worse than me? That's like kind of me with baseball, like the analytics Twitter. Like, if you think I'm bad, wait till you meet my variants. People who are like intercepting a stat, right? Those type of people, right? Literally giving the ball to the other team does not matter. You know what I mean? That's, you know what? I'm going to transition to my next thing. I'm thankful for people who are able to use stats in a way that aren't obnoxious when it comes to every sport, but especially baseball. And what I mean by that is this. I'm okay if you're starting like the whole WRC plus thing. It's a very good stat for just judging someone's hitting, right? But I'm just very thankful for people who, and I bring this up a lot, like Lindsay Adler's tweet where it's like, just because a stat doesn't tell you the full story, or it might not be as good or valuable as others, it's useless. RBIs at least tell you something. Does it tell you everything? Most often it does not. But it's also a very useful stat for just the game day recap. You know what I mean? People who are trained, it's nice to see, oh, this person was the one who had the 4 big hits today. They drove in 4 runs. That was the big player of the day and whatnot. It's a nice recap stat. That's how I view it. I'm very grateful for people that aren't the types that are like, I actually think that, let's see. I think Fernando Tatis Jr.'s defense is so bad that it's like it's actually not, first of all, so that's not even a correct, even if you go on the stat-based things, it's not even that bad. But I'm just grateful that we don't have too many of those people who, look, Rylan, I'll tell you some stuff offline that I've heard from some kids via the old Just Baseball website, which you guys can check out, from fans of ours that have had some wicked awful takes. But I'm just grateful for people who know how to use stats in a way that are fun and, at the minimum, just not overly obnoxious. You're not bragging about your Yale degree and how you know how to do transmutations. Guess what? I like to try and make sports fun and not another algebra class. So I'm very thankful for people who are able to do that too. Even if sometimes, though, they could be on the extreme example of people like you who say Salvador the Hall of Famer and then say that pitch framing is actually cheating. Just absolutely insane takes that come out of nowhere. But go on.
Look, Moneyball has turned everybody into Billy Bean, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's a glorified.
I agree.
Movie. I like BaseballSavant.com. I bookmark it. I have it up when I watch every single baseball game. I like advanced stats. But when somebody tells me that Salvador Perez is not a Hall of Famer or that him hitting home runs is actually bad for the Royals, I'm out. Salvador Perez is one of the best catchers of all time in our generation. He's a Hall of Famer. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, because all of a sudden we care about that. If you're a Hall of Famer, you just get in. We want to wait for the 5th ballot, but he won't be a first ballot guy. But if these guys get put in the Hall of Fame, Salvador Perez will get in the Hall of Fame as well. I mean, it's ridiculous. What is the knock on Salvador Perez?
Wait, is this a real question?
What's your knock? Is it pitch framing? Is that all?
It's the pitch framing. It's the defense. It's also that I need a little bit more.
How about him throwing out runners left and right?
Look, but the pitch framing is part of the defense. That's what I'm saying. It's part of it. I will say with the pitch framing, it's not like the Royals. I'm going to defend Salvador Perez for a second. In fairness, the Royals don't have the best pitchers in the world necessarily when it comes to frontline starters. So maybe that is a factor that needs to be brought into this, where it's like maybe if you had better pitchers, maybe some of that stuff might be the zone ratings and all the stuff that you guys want to bring up. Maybe that improves a little bit under a better rotation. That is possible. The other thing with him is I just needed a little bit more from offensively for the totality of his career to put him there. Now, it is true that it's not over yet. If this guy keeps it up, has a couple more, adds to that WAR count, perhaps, yeah, it's possible that he becomes a Hall of Famer. In fairness, it's not like Salvador Perez is retiring. That does need to be brought up. But in my opinion, I need more. I need a few more years of consistent offensive production. I need a little bit more walks, a little bit more ability to get on base. And then I might be into it. Hey, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, Starling Marte is a top level free agent. That guy never walked really all that much before this year and has become a much better on base guy. And now one of the most valuable players in baseball the past like year and a half. So it's not impossible that guys can develop new tendencies. Maybe he moves to the DH. I don't know. Maybe he does a little bit of both. I don't know what happens with him, but either way, I do not see Salvador Perez as a Hall of Famer right now. That's just my opinion, Rylan. That's it. It's just an opinion. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Mike Zunino is a top 5 pitch framer. Is he a Hall of Famer?
No, because he hasn't been doing it long enough. What are we doing here? Stop it.
How about a World Series ring and a World Series MVP?
Shut up.
I mean, I'm just asking. Whatever happened
it
to
does
win
mean
World
something.
Series?
Don't get me wrong. Look, it's not a nothing conversation. I will say that. It's not a nothing conversation, but I just need a little bit more, man. And stop looking at your computer like that, like you're trying to bring up extra factoids. Look, you're such a schemer over there. I hate you. But Rylan, keep going with other things that you're thankful for. And it could also be non-baseball things too, since we are hitting the waning moments of this here podcast.
Yeah, so not a ton to be thankful for outside of Salvador Perez and Bug White Jr. For Kansas City, but I'm thankful for Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's gotten back on track a bit now. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be primed for another Super Bowl run. Your Chargers have fallen apart because they're terrible. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the Chiefs down the stretch run.
Unbelievable. Just totally out of call for. Look, I can't touch on this podcast because the Padres fans will get mad at me. I will say I am very grateful for Spin. And honestly, I like that he doesn't get all the attention. It's great. I like that nobody does their homework and pays attention to this fact that this guy's a beast and changed literally my way. This I can't talk about in this podcast. Justin Herbert, my husband, actually did change my outlook on judging prospects and draftees and young guys permanently. And what I mean by that is I will never have, as long as I live, another take, and I'm thankful for this, another take on whether or not an upcoming prospect will be good. I talk about prospects a lot in the sense of assets and the fact that these guys are valuable. Whether or not they're good or whatever is another thing entirely. But I will never make a prediction and be like, CJ Abrams is going to come up and going to be a top 10 second baseman to me. I'm not going to do that anymore because Justin Herbert, if anybody watched or read any tape, any analysis from real football people, down things by the numbers, by the hash marks, and show you all the throws and all the, not just stats, but literally show you game film and break it down. Stephen Ruiz of USA Today, or formerly of USA Today, was a great example of this. Like, everything said, there's a lot of red flags with this Herbert guy. And then he came into the league and set it on fire. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm done with that. I will judge the positions that are drafted, i.e. if the Padres invested more in a shortstop right now, I'd be like, what are you doing? We kind of have one. That I will do. I will talk about positional stuff and whatnot. But when it comes to unproven talent that's only been at the college, minor league level, I'm never going to do that. I will only view them as prospects in terms of what I've heard. I will not make any sweeping predictions anymore. I will only say whether or not how I feel about them as an asset and whether or not they should trade them or whatever, right? That I'm going to be having. And I think that I'm very thankful for that because it makes my life a lot more calmer. I don't like having takes on young people that could go either way. You know what I'm saying? Mike Zunino, who you mentioned before, was the first overall draft pick once upon a time. He's Yeah, so I mean, he's had his good moments, really good defensive player, lots of power, but we talk about Salvador Perez not getting on base enough. Mike Zunino, when he's not going, he literally takes away any value that he gives you defensively because his bat.
What about pitch framing?
So toxic. Look. I'm enough with the pitch framing. Sorry that we like to use things that matter just a tiny bit. I love that though. I'm going to put that in all quotes. Pitch framing is cheating. I'm going to put that in all quotes. I promise you.
Some would say it's worse than sign stealing.
Oh, really?
You're stealing. You're stealing a call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean,
you've still got to hit the ball when you steal signs. When you steal a pitch, you got to do anything but fool the ref, fool the ump. I want to let everyone know, though, from your audience, I am by no means a Royals homer. You can go check the reviews of the podcast. In fact, I am oftentimes called the most cynical, pessimistic Royals fan of all time. But I cannot stand for the slander of Salvador Perez being called a not Hall of Famer. If that's the case, then no catcher of our generation should get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, wrong, but sure. Rylan, what are our last couple thankful for?
I'm thankful that we're not going to subject the audience to a draft again and have them listen to you pick acorn squash over mashed potatoes. But that's really
Look,
what I'm thankful for.
the mashed potatoes thing. Look, I know you gave me crap for this. That I actually will. All right, I cop to that. I think the mashed potatoes, like they're just so important for the glop when it comes to talking about Thanksgiving food. I love putting it all together. It is important for that when they're made well. Maybe a little bit of gravy, not too much gravy though. I don't love too much gravy, but that I will cop to. I will not cop to you giving me crap for taking like the meat and the turkey last. Likes turkey, dude. Like I get the tradition, but there's so many. You know how many times I've been with people who are like, "Yo, we got any like bagels or anything like that?" like turkey is. I understand that, but as someone who is a big fan of breaking tradition and being weird, I just don't understand why we all have this impetus to you have to do this thing. I'll even go as far to say that Thanksgiving you have to stop making some pressured thing in your head that you need to hang out with your extended family and your 15th cousin. You don't have to do that. Your family, for me, it could just be my mom and I. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I don't like that the tradition has made people think they have to think a certain way. And that extends to turkey, my friend. Turkey is it's not offensive. It's fine. Maybe you're just trying to mix up the palate and whatnot. I'm just saying, if you get some pernil from the Puerto Rican lads over here. You make some good stuff over there. You get some pork. It's just better. It just is better, man. Everybody likes it more. I get that you want to mix up the meal a little bit, but turkey, it's not getting the job done. It's not getting the job done. It is a two-war player when it comes to Thanksgiving food.
War. You know what Salvador Perez has? He has a ring, right? He has a ring.
You say turkey has a ring? Is that what you're about to say?
Turkey does have a ring. They have the ring for the Macy's Days Parade. I will say I don't like turkey, so I'm with you there. The tradition for Thanksgiving that I would like to break, on top of the one that you mentioned, the family thing. Listen, if I haven't talked to you in the last 3 months, I don't need you over at my house eating Thanksgiving food, right? But the tradition I want to break is the need to dress up, to sit in your own house and eat dinner.
Yes.
Which you do not do 303 days, because you do it for Christmas too, and Christmas Eve. But why? Why are you getting dressed to the nines to go sit on your couch and watch the sorry ass Lions kick around a football and eat turkey?
I agree 100%. It's never made sense. Again, this is another pressure thing. I mean, I don't dress up for Thanksgiving. The most I'll ever do is like maybe a light sweater. And that was when I was actually hanging out with like all my family. Otherwise, not going to happen. Not going to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't not stand the pressure to, for some reason, be dressed up like that. And the first person who comments, by the way, because I know someone's thinking, all right, grow up, be an adult. Be an adult? Be an adult. Guys, everyone shut up. The idea of what constitutes being an adult and what doesn't constitute being an adult is one of the dumber things that we do in society. All right. I've said this about Halloween. It's people who are saying be an adult. Why is going in a cubicle and dressing in your suit, your business outfit, more adult? Why is that more adult? What's more adult in yourself and enjoying what you enjoy? And if that's dressing up as a character, I'm doing it a little bit right now. Shout out. I'm thankful for Monkey D. Luffy of One Piece. I've got the little straw hat on right now. Recently passed 1,000 episodes. Very grateful for that. What the hell is like, I've always loathed that. I hate dressing up all the time. I mean, you honestly can't even find pictures of me of when I was at all dressed up, if that makes any sense. It has a lot to do with some family tension and whatnot, but I won't go into that now. I just can't stand it. And you're 100% right. It makes no sense. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. What are you going to impress your 15th cousin that you never see once a year? Who cares? You know what I mean? I'm going to show up in my turkey flip-flops, and the little gobble gobble guy is going to be at my feet. And then I'm going to eat some food, yell about football, and call it a day. That's what you do. That's what Thanksgiving is. It is whatever you want to be in general. That's what I have to say about it.
Spot on. Nail head.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Rylan,
It's
before I let
one
you
good
go,
take today.
Shut up. Before I let you go, what kind of things are you thankful that you'll be able to plug, since I'm going to allow you to plug them?
Yeah, thank you for this generous platform to plug Locked On Royals. If you're an NBA fan, Locked On Thunder, you're going to check out at Rylan_Stiles, Stiles, on Twitter. Yeah, that's about it. Going to start breaking down some players over at Locked On Royals. Each player on the roster, see where the Royals can get better. For my audience, for your audience, what you got? What do you got coming up in the old can, as they would say?
I'm going to be reacting to some athletic pieces on the Padres, talking a little bit about CJ Abrams, who, out of all the Padres prospects, is the one that is probably most likely to debut the soonest. I actually think Robert Hassel's an interesting prospect as well that people might be familiar with, but I think he's the one that might get traded out of all of them most likely. I think he's going to maybe talking with my old buddy years as well, Mr. Arm Late of Locked On MLB prospects, to break down the Padres top 10 system. That should be coming up within the next week or two. That should be a lot of fun. Reacting to some news. We got a bunch of Giants news yesterday, or yesterday as in this past Monday, about how they re-signed Anthony Scafani and all these guys that they're kind of running it back. That's interesting. What does that mean for the Padres? Breaking all that down. And again, I'm very thankful for being able to host this podcast. In all honesty, though, it's been a really tough last year and a half for a lot of people. I know Rylan feels the same way when it comes to just the world and how things transpired. And just being a part of this network has been lovely. And this team, while frustrating many times, has had its moments. And I would not want any other team, including, no, I don't want no Atlanta Braves. I don't care if they won the world. I want the Padres. It is an exciting team and a team that shows hope for potentially baseball being a little bit less of a sorry, tired sport than it often is. And I'm also thankful for Arcane, the League of Legends Netflix series. Speaking of surprises and whatnot and how we should have never judged. First, we finally got it, Riley. We finally got it. The first really, truly, objectively great video game adaptation. That show is otherworldly good, and I cannot believe it. Go check that out after you finish playing Fall Guys with me, because I'm still begging you to play that game with me, and it's been way too long. But any final thoughts, sir?
We're gonna hop on Fall Guys pretty soon, so that'll be a lot of fun. That's my final thought.
That's your final thought. Great final thought. Everybody, that about does it for today's edition of the Locked On Padres podcast, the only pod that maybe than the Padres themselves. Remember to subscribe to the podcast, get your podcasts from. We're free and available on all platforms. But I must say, also make Locked On Bets your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. You can follow Rylan on Twitter and Locked On Rolls, Locked On Thunder, whatever. Me at Javipeno, JAVIIPENO, or Locked On Padres on YouTube if you want to see me laughing as Rylan did the biggest zag in the history of this podcast. You could check that out. A link to that is in the description for all my audio listeners. Otherwise, type in Locked On Padres on YouTube. You'll find it. Believe me. And until next time, stay safe and, of course, stay faithful. My Friar Faithful homies, take care. Yeah.
You had all that singing.